Newsflash, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be a car salesperson. I get the question asked to me often, what does it take to become a car salesperson? Or what did it look like for you to become a car salesperson? Or what can I do to become a car salesperson or a car sales professional? And the reality is you don't have to be extremely educated. You don't have to be a college graduate. I mean, realistically, you don't even have to be a high school graduate in order to become a car salesman. Very little to low barrier of entry if you want to be a car salesman. As long as you're a stand-up person, you have respect, you can treat people well, and you're somewhat good at communicating value of a certain product. Again, it doesn't really matter what you're selling as far as cars go, whether you're Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Toyota. You're, at the end of the day, you're representing a product, and you're trying to help a client best understand why your product fits their needs. And at the end of the day, if you can convey that message in a clean and simple way, and you can show respect and genuine care for the clients that you have, then I personally believe you'll go a lot farther in the industry, as opposed to the people that are genuinely looking out for themselves and their pocket and their bottom line. I'm truly blessed to work for a business or a company, Chevy and Mercedes down in San Luis Obispo, that I don't get paid on a gross profit basis, meaning whatever the dealership makes on the profit of the vehicle, that doesn't go or affect my pocket. I get paid based off the units that I sell. So it really allows me to be hyper focused on creating a good relationship and good deal for every single one of my clients, because at the end of the day, the bottom line does not affect how I get paid. So I am genuinely on the client side when I'm going to the desk and fighting for these deals for them to try to get them the best possible deal, and it really helps when it comes to friends and family and stuff like that. But aside from that, if you want to become a car salesperson, and this is to the people that have asked me, what does it take to become a car salesperson? Again, you don't have to be highly educated or be super smart in order to be a car salesperson, or in love with vehicles, or any of that thing whatsoever. But you do have to be willing to juggle about 15 things at one time every single day, no matter what day it is, whether you're working, whether you're not working, and all of the things have equal urgency. And if you don't get to any one of those 15 things with urgency, then one of those things is absolutely going to fall through the cracks. And I'll just give you an example of what something like that could look like in one given day. So obviously, for me, I get in the office at 9 a.m. You have, 50 to 100, maybe 150 tasks that you have to get back to from the day prior. So as you're going through that 100 to 150 tasks, again, this is my personal experience. You have a client that calls you, hey, I'm pulled over on the side of the road. My vehicle has a check engine light. I need to get into service as soon as possible. It's cool. You go down to service. You help them get a tow truck set up. You set up an appointment for them, and have service call them to get them in the office to get their check engine light taken care of. Great. Got that pushed off the back, or off your plate. Immediately after that, you have an appointment that comes in. This appointment is a test drive appointment. So you go on your test drive. In the middle of the test drive, you have another client that texts you, hey, I know I was supposed to come in tomorrow, but I'm actually on my way right now. Are you available? Sure. You go back to the dealership from the test drive. You have another client there that wants to talk about numbers on a different vehicle. So awesome. You have one client, wait at your desk, while the other one, you're negotiating the car deal on the other side. Both of them want to buy at the same time. So you're operating two different clients at one time, trying to create a good experience and a good deal for each of them. At the same time, you're walking through the showroom trying to get numbers for one client while the other one's already ready to make their purchase, but getting antsy because it's been a long time. And the phone rings, you're the only one there, you answer it, it's a client calling from out of state. They want pictures of a vehicle that's not ready, hasn't gone through the shop. So you take down their information while you're getting numbers for one client and trying to get everything processed and credit application for the next client. You run to the back to figure out what's going on with that vehicle. You figure out you have to get the keys from service. You have to take photos of the vehicle. Again, while it's not ready, you're not prepared. So get that pushed through detail real quick to get a quick customer wash so you can take good, genuine pictures. Again, finish taking the pictures, forget to send them to the client, go back to help the original client, shake one hand because the deal's all done, Other client is still waiting on numbers because you were dealing with the first client, getting that one sold and delivered back to detail. While all that's going on, the service client calls back. They haven't been picked up from the tow truck, so they're wondering what you're doing or if you're even helping them to begin with. So you go back down to service, you make sure that's getting all set up. Service finally calls them and gets dialed in. Go back. First client, you're getting them into finance. While they're in finance, you're finalizing the transaction on the second deal. By that time, the client that called you from out of state, they're wondering where their photos are, the vehicle that you forgot to send them. Finally send those off, get that ready to go. Client comes out of the box, so happens to be at the same time that the other client is ready to go into the finance, so that works out perfectly. And after all that, your client from out of state calls and said they're ready to move forward as well. So you have one client that you have to still do a delivery on the vehicle, one client in finance is waiting, and a client that's ready to move forward for this out of state and wants to figure out what it looks like to move forward. And that all happens by, say, 4 o'clock, and you look up and you realize that your entire day is gone, and you still have those 150 tasks that you have to get back to. And if you don't get back to those, you typically have managers wondering why you haven't completed your tasks today. So that's a baseline of a super busy day, obviously. That's not an every single day thing, but if you aren't able and willing to be able to juggle multiple tasks at once, just about every single day, 6 to 7 days a week, then I would say maybe car sales is not for you. But if you are, then maybe it is.